Hello everyone, I'm Sharpedo43 once again, bringing you all another Wi-Fi battle. This is going to be an OU battle, and my opponent for it is going to be Mr.Talent, a PokéTuber, also a very popular streamer on Twitch. He's also very popular in the Draft League battling community as well, due to his participation in a lot of popular draft leagues, such as the GBA, the UCL, and the WBE. In fact, he's currently in the WBE right now, and recently he started streaming Pokemon Wi-Fi battles on his Twitch stream, so I definitely wanted to take advantage of getting a battle with Mr.Talent, because let me tell you that I've never actually gotten to battle Mr.Talent, because the time that Mr.Talent was streaming Pokemon Wi-Fi battles for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was like in the first 30 days of Ultra Sun and Moon's release, and honestly, at the time I didn't really have any teams for battling yet, because I was actually busy getting through the story, because I was actually still busy doing other things, such as finishing recording all of the battles that I had for Sun and Moon. And as a result, I was kind of days behind with the whole getting to finish Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And as a result, when he was streaming Wi-Fi battles, I just never got to battle him. And when I was ready to battle him, he just wasn't streaming battles anymore. So it's been a long time since he last streamed Wi-Fi battles. So now that he has, I definitely wanted to take advantage of the opportunity of getting to battle him. And if the battle turns out to be one-dimensional, like if he destroys me or if I destroy him, oh well. But I just wanted to get a battle with him, because honestly it's been way too long. I've been trying so much to battle this guy. In fact, I think I tried battling him before in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but I couldn't because the battle kept disconnecting or something. There was just always some kind of inconvenience that would never let me to battle Mr.Talent. So, but this is the time where I finally get to battle him for once. And I'm going to actually be using a team that's actually a draft league team. Like, this is a team that I used in a draft league. In fact, it's actually from the Valhalla League, the team that I used for my week 8 opponent, Grisbone. I wanted to use it because looking at the team that Mr.Talent had, I just figured, nah, let's just bring something that's not necessarily like tryhard, because Mr.Talent typically likes to use teams that are not so tryhard, even though he asks for OU battles. So knowing that, I definitely decided, you know what, let's just bring one of the draft league teams that I used for the Valhalla League instead to use against Mr.Talent. And this is the one that I use. But here we go. This is the battle. He's going to lead off with Medicham. I lead off with the God Pulu. And right here, obviously, I'm just going to go straight for the Hornleech, because I don't see why not. This Medicham is definitely going to be the Mega. Looking at his team, this was definitely the Mega. And right here, like I said, I went for Hornleech. I just wanted to get the damage off and possibly KO it, because I am in grassy terrain right now. And this Hornleech is going to hurt, considering the defenses of Mega Medicham. So here he goes for Fake Out, which means I don't get to do anything for the first turn. But for the second turn, he does go for Ice Punch, and I do live it. And I am able to just go for the Hornleech and just take out the freaking Mega Medicham, which is just goes to show you the power of the God. Even though, again, Medicham's defenses are not that great. But yeah, I was able to take out the Medicham, and that's good news, because my Bulu is still relatively healthy, and I can preserve it for later. So here he's going to go into Rapidash, and I decided to go into Milotic because I don't think he'll want to just go for a prediction, or at least I thought. So I just hard switch into Milotic, even though he could possibly carry a Wild Charge on that Rapidash. But again, I just didn't think he'd go for it right now then, because he was in a very bad position already. He does kind of predict my switch in a way and goes for the Mega Horn, so but now he's going to switch out and go into a Araquanid. I hard switch into Jolteon here because I was kind of thinking he probably wouldn't want to stay in on a Milotic anyway, so I decided to just hard switch into the Jolteon, and I decided to go for Volt Switch in case he switches into something else, because looking at his team, he also doesn't seem to have any Volt Switch immunity except Resistance, which in this case would be Magnezone. So I decided to switch into Lucario here, because this Lucario can just one-shot this Magnezone, especially because right now it's not at full HP, which means if it's 30, it's not going to survive a Aura Sphere. But he is going to definitely see that coming, and he's just going to hard switch into Aristotle, which is the Araquanid. And Aura Sphere is not going to really do much to an Araquanid, because Araquanids do have ridiculously high special attack. Special defense, not special attack, what the hell. But yeah, so I think here I decided to switch out because Lucario really can't do anything to this thing. This is a special attacking Lucario, so against the Araquanid, it's just literally not going to do me any good. And the Araquanid, on the other hand, can definitely potentially one-shot my Lucario with a Liquidation, given the ability that Araquanid has in Water Bubble. So yeah, but here I just decided to hard switch into the God in case he actually tries to go for the Liquidation, but he actually goes for the Sticky Webs, which is, it's kind of bad because I kind of need Sticky Webs out of the field in order to get something going with Mega Sharpedo. So I decided to go for Hornleech right here, just because he doesn't really have a switch in the Hornage, and if he does, it's not gonna take it very well. Like in this case, Rapidash, he switches it in, and this Hornage does over half, so he's definitely not gonna wanna take another one. And if he does, he's probably gonna just go for the fire move, which I can switch into my Milotic for, which is what I do right here. Well, actually, no, not really, because I was anticipating a fire move. I was thinking, could maybe Armaldo take it very well? I know it's not, well, it is stab on a Rapidash, but I was thinking, because Armaldo's a rock type, maybe it can take it decently, but I wasn't sure either way. Here I risked it anyway. So here I just go for the Rapid Spin. That was another reason why I switched in Armaldo too, because I felt like this was the only time I can send in Armaldo. Because if he starts to play offensively and he manages to get the he manages to keep me pressured to the point where I can't even send in Armaldo, the webs are just gonna be there to stay, and he can definitely sweep with Rapidash or this Magnezone, because this Magnezone turns out to be a substitute set. That if he's behind a substitute and has sticky webs up and outspeeds literally everything that I send in, that's gonna be the whole game. Sharpedo can get +1. Actually, no, his speed gets neutralized because the sticky webs would negate its speed by 1 stage, but then speed was would raise it by 1, and then I wouldn't be able to do much afterwards. So I would be able to take out the Magnezone, but then he can send in something that can outspeed me or speed tie with me. In this case, would be Rapidash. So there was a lot at stake here if the webs were up. So it was definitely a priority for me to keep the webs off the field. Here he's going to stay in and go for Hidden Power Fire, I think it is, with this Magnezone. I just go for Volt Switch. The reason I switched it in against Magnezone was because I needed to switch into the Magnezone in the first place, because I needed to switch out. I didn't want to stay in with Armaldo. So yeah, and here I go into Lucario because I was hoping he'd go for Flash Cannon. I know he could have gone for Thunderbolt or Hidden Power Fire, but I was just hoping he would go for Flash Cannon, since Thunderbolt, Jolteon's immune to it, and Hidden Power Fire is not going to really do much to Jolteon either. So I just decided to hard switch in Lucario. He is now going to switch out and go back into Araquanid. I went for another Aura Sphere because I was just thinking maybe he'll stay in now because he knows that I have a very ideal matchup here. He probably wouldn't want to just keep switching around because I could possibly predict them switching out, and then I'll be putting myself in a good position. So here I'm just going to hard switch into the God, because he went back into the Araquanid, and I was convinced he'd try to get the sticky webs back up. So here, once again, I just want to put myself into this position where the God can actually go for a free Hornleech here. And he either has to sack something or let something on his team take a lot of damage. One of the things I'm trying to get into this battle is my rocks, because if I get rocks up, anything that switches in is going to take some rocks damage, and is going to be probably weakened from my Sharpedo to just late game sweep here. So yeah, here I go for Hornleech. This Cashier actually takes it very, very well. But I was thinking, okay, since this thing has substitute and he knows, and I know that he has a steel type in Flash Cannon, I was thinking, okay, maybe he'll predict me to switch out and go for substitute. So I went for Hornleech and stayed in, basically. This consequently causes me to lose the God, because he went for Flash Cannon, and that Flash Cannon was actually enough to take out the God. I honestly thought I could at least survive it and then maybe get another Hornleech off, but as you can see, that was just not the case. So as a result, I'd lose it. So now I have to send in Jolteon. The reason why was just to get as much damage as possible so that Sharpedo can just come in and just crunch it and not have to worry about having to protect. Because if I protect, then this thing can set up a substitute, and I didn't want him to set up a substitute. Here he goes for Hidden Power Fire. It does not KO my Jolteon, and it definitely allows my Wiki Berry to activate. Yeah, the reason why I'm running Wiki Berry on this Jolteon is because of the fact that this was a Draft League team that I was using against Mr.Talent. It was the one that I used against Grizzbone, if you guys don't believe me. So you guys can check it out there if you want. I'll even link in the description if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, so here's he's gonna hard switch into Jolteon right here. He doesn't want to let his Magnezone go down for some reason, and he's just gonna go into Uxie. Now here for some reason I hard switch here into Armaldo, I think. And the reason why I hard switched instead of volt switching was because I was kind of afraid of this thing being a Scarf set for some reason, and just going for Psyshock, which I felt like if it's an offensive set, it could probably KO my Jolteon in one hit. So I didn't want to lose Jolteon yet because I needed it for the Araquanid. So here now I'm just gonna hard switch into Armaldo, and thankfully he didn't go for rocks. Actually, I think he did go for rocks. Here he now goes for Thunder Wave, and I think here what I try to do now is go for the Rapid Spin to see what else he wants to do after going for Psychic. And then here afterwards I get my own rocks up. And if he tries to get his rocks up, I think what I try to do is first see if I can get some damage on the Uxie by going for X Scissor, and I want to see how much it does. If it does very, very little, I might just keep going for X Scissors, and if it does like a lot of damage, I might just spam Rapid Spin to possibly keep him from having his rocks up. It just depends on the damage output from Rapid Spin on Armaldo, so that's basically what I'm going for here. Here he's gonna go for Psychic. I think I went for here. I think I tried going for X Scissor here a couple times, but I got paralyzed. I got my rocks up, which is good, but I wanted to now attack it and get some damage off on the Uxie, because if I can weaken this Uxie enough for my Sharpedo to just come in and go for Crunch and without Mega Evolving, I can get a free speed boost without relying on Protect, and then I can just potentially late game sweep, depending on the sets of his remaining Pokemon. Like if anything on his team can take at least a hit or two from Sharpedo, Mega Sharpedo specifically, then there may not be any Sharpedo sweep, unfortunately. So yeah, here I finally stopped getting paralyzed and I actually do get an X Scissor, and as you can see, it does quite an amount of damage. Something tells me that this Uxie was probably not physically defensive, because I think if it was defensive, it would have taken it a lot better than that, honestly. Because I don't think this Armaldo is even fully attack invested, so this Uxie must have a different spread of sorts. Either way, here he goes for Psychic and I still live, so I just went for a Rapid Spin to get rid of his Stealth Rocks. Now here I just wanted to see if he was going to try to go for Stealth Rocks again. I go for Rapid Spin one more time right here, I believe, as he goes for Stealth Rocks. I just wanted to see if he would dare go back for Stealth Rocks, or would he try to go for more Psychics and finish out my Armaldo. As you can see, he just went for another Stealth Rock, so after this Rapid Spin, I figure, okay, this is going to be risky, because if he predicts me and goes for another Thunder Wave, I can be in trouble here. But I was thinking, maybe he's going to try to go for the Rocks again, maybe, because he wants to keep them up so that the rest of my team that comes in on switching will go down to Rocks. So here, I'm going to Hard Switch in Sharpedo, which was risky, because if he got the Thunder Wave off on my Sharpedo, that would have been the whole game. Now here, after hard switching in the Sharpedo, here I made another risky play. I know that Uxies are typically defensive, that not even crunches from Sharpedo can take out a Uxie one hit, in all honesty. So I was thinking that from where it's at right now, I don't know if it can take it out. And I think this Sharpedo was also Jolly, so that just means less power, so that means the chances of taking out Uxie was very, very minimal. But thankfully I was able to take it out here in this case. Now here he's going to send out the Araquanid. Now I know these Araquanids can definitely survive a crunch, at least after rocks. So I was thinking, okay, and this, once again, the Sharpedo's Jolly, so it may not even take out this Araquanid. And as you can see, it does not. It did a lot less than I thought, in all honesty. Like, I thought it would leave it at least red, but it didn't. And something tells me that it's probably a defense invested one, because as you can see here, this Leech Life once again does not one hit KO my Sharpedo like I think they typically do, in all honesty. I guess it just depends on the set, and I think in this case this Araquanid was a max defensive set, because it took that crunch from Sharpedo way too good. But yeah, here because I got the defense drop here, he decides to sack the Magnezone so that he can switch in Araquanid with without the defense attack. But I think in all honesty this was probably a misplay, because he's now going to come back in, but taking more damage from the rocks here, potentially putting me in range to take it out with a crunch. In all honesty, I didn't know if I could take out the Araquanid from where it was at right there. I mean, it could have been a high roll or something, especially just looking at the amount that it did earlier. But thankfully I was just able to take it out right here, and as a result I am now able to pretty much late game sweep here. Like, this Minior comes in and is not able to take an Ice Fang from Sharpedo, even though it's in its defensive form. And then here comes this Rapidash, which is going to take more rocks damage. I have +1 speed, and unless this is a Scarf Rapidash, it's not going to outspeed Sharpedo at +1. And I just get to finish it off with a crunch. And that's going to be the whole game. I get a nice Sharpedo sweep in this battle, which is pretty good. And against Mr.Talent too, one of the most popular PokéTubers in the Pokemon community, because yeah, like I said, he's very, very popular for doing popular draft leagues. So yeah, yeah, that was pretty cool. I think the only thing that that really mattered in this battle was the defense drop on the Araquanid, because let me be honest with you, if he didn't get the defense drop, he probably wouldn't have been tempted to want to switch out. And he would have probably, actually he would definitely have taken out my Sharpedo right there. And then after taking out Sharpedo, I would have to actually send in Jolteon to go for Thunderbolt, which I do think would have taken out the Araquanid from where it was at. Because what I wanted to do with Sharpedo initially was not necessarily go for game. It was just weaken the Araquanid so that my Jolteon can come in and late game sweep. Because Jolteon was the more legit late game cleaner in this battle rather than Sharpedo. Sharpedo was just able to get the late game sweep here, because of the RNG that I got in my favor there. That one bit of RNG in the defense drop for Araquanid, because without that defense drop, Sharpedo would not have been able to take out Araquanid, because he would either have to stay in and take the crunch and probably lose Araquanid, or just sack something, which he did basically, and then bring in Araquanid. But Araquanid would take rocks afterwards, putting it once again in range for Sharpedo to take it out with crunch. But again, I don't know if had he just stayed in, would he have still been able to survive the crunch even at -1 defense? So I guess in my case I probably would have stayed in, but he didn't. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is that I think the RNG mattered, but only in the sense that without it I probably would not have been able to get the Sharpedo sweep and instead have to have gotten the Jolteon sweep instead. But yeah, anyways, that's gonna be the whole game. Once again, good game to Mr. Talent, and I hope to battle him more often because honestly, I do like battling this guy a lot, and it's not every day I get to battle him. But I'll leave his handles in the description so you guys can check him out. With all that said, I'm gonna be out of here. So for now, I'll catch you guys all later. For now, just take it easy. Bye.